a very common perception, and it's got to stop. And I think the way it's going to stop is the reality is going to set in. Oftentimes, we don't take any action until it's in our own backyard. So it's like when the question is, if you stopped working today, how long can you survive? If your spouse passed away, how long can you survive financially? So oftentimes it's when it's up. The reason so many women get into trouble is because they're not prepared, and when that financial crisis hits, they're, number one, have to deal with the emotional loss, and then they're supposed to be managing money, which they're not aware of. They don't know how to do. Many women don't know how to do that. So there's too many stories of when that happens, and then I can tell you a story right now of a woman. She's in her early 50s. Her husband passed away unexpectedly. She barely knew how to manage a checking account. I mean, it was scary. And then what happens is people come in and say, oh, I'll help you, Mr. Money Manager, Mrs. Money Manager, I'll help you. And next thing you know, she's broke. So the mindset change is just, it's a very, very good question, because it's not an easy question. It is a change of mind shift. So I think the more women become aware of what's happening and stop putting their heads in the sand and stop thinking that this isn't going to happen to them, and maybe it won't ever happen to them, but it's time that women start standing up and saying, hey, my financial life has got to be up to me. I've got to take care of me. I've got to take care of my kids. So look at the statistics, look at what's happening in the world, and don't become a statistic. Start taking charge. So one other thing I want to say to women is my second book is called It's Rising Time. And again, it's a book for women about money and about investing. The reason I wrote it is because I see so many women, they read my book or they read other books, they attend seminars, they go online and they get all this information, and for some reason, they become paralyzed when it comes time to take action, to go do something. So the only way that you make strides in your financial life, when you take charge of your financial life, you've got to get the education, but then the most important thing is you've got to take some action. You've got to invest that money, even if it's $20. It's a matter of it's a matter of taking that first step. And so what the stories I hear from so many women, it's my experience as well, is when I started investing, I was scared to death. It's very common to be scared. It's very common to be nervous. We're afraid of making a mistake. We're afraid of being told, I told you so. We're afraid of losing money, all of that. It's very, very common. But once you cross that line and you put a little money down, you take some action, that's when things start to happen. That's when you go, okay, this wasn't as scary as I thought. This is working. Or you make a mistake and you keep going. But the most important thing, and that's why I wrote the book, It's Rising Time, is to encourage women. Lots of stories about other women who are investing, who are starting their own businesses, is to encourage them to start taking those first steps to get into action, because nothing's going to happen until you do that.